bit easy on you.
Welcome everyone, my name's Eltimar. We are here with the developer for Stellar Warfare. He's actually agreed to play a game against me, and he's going to go a little bit easy. So hopefully that's going to go okay. Alright, so here I am in the main screen. I'm ready to go.
Building. Current building. Not yet.
Is it good to go building refinery or power station first, do you feel? Like, do you like to get your power generation or your metal going first?
For me, it doesn't matter too much. It kind of depends on what type of asteroids I have around my base. If I have like large asteroids nearby, then I usually go refinery first. But if it's a little bit further off, you can only build buildings next to your own buildings. So if it's further off and I can maybe make a power station closer to it and then build a refinery really close to it,
not yet. Can't build
I use the extra build area basically. It's a case-by-case basis.
And so to spread out your base further, you just keep building outwards from your center place, right? Like every building adds more region that you can build into?
Correct. And you also have the surveyor, and you can always build near a surveyor. And that's like an unarmed construction area unit.
Awesome. And then so I've looked at a Zabu Gen. Do I just need to keep like a surveyor, or is there a specific type of ship you have to send near it, or is it just any ship?
Any type of ship or any type of building, and then you just get some resources every few seconds.
Perfect. And at what point in the game do you usually go to the advanced power station as opposed to the normal power station, or do you kind of just wing it?
Yeah, it depends a little bit, because it does deliver twice the amount of resources, but at the same time it only has half the health, so it depends on how often you're being harassed as well.
So it's a fragile ship, so you kind of got to keep it safe, or with building, I guess.
Yeah. And you can also hold Alt and then click on any object in space, and then the camera will center on it. That's also useful for building in several heights or something.
Gotcha. And so is the game going to have like a campaign mode, or is it just mostly going to be PvP, or what's the starter plan on that?
It's going to be mostly PvP. You can collect data crystals that float around in space. And those will unlock data about the past and what actually happened after the events of the light. And then from the main menu you can look up basically the lore, and the more data crystals you've accumulated, the more of the lore will be unlocked.
Oh, cool. That's pretty neat. And how many ship designs are you planning on putting in the game? I know there's the intro 6 or whatever. How many ships exist other than those ones?
There's currently 25 to 30 of them in the game. So there's a few you can already unlock, and there's about 20 weapons as well, maybe 25.
That's pretty impressive actually. And do is there going to be like options for modding, or is that something you're looking into, or?
A lot of people would like it to be moddable, but I'm just developing this on my own. So, and adding modding would cost about 500 hours extra work. So only if I get like enough funds or support on Patreon, then I will be able to work towards that goal. But until then, I'll have my hands full on actually making everything look well, perform well, making it as stable as possible, things along those lines.
Gotcha.
So it would be nice to have, definitely.
And is this sort of like the general size of a map, just sort of this sort of size, or do you plan on doing bigger or smaller maps, or?
Yeah. This is the general size of most maps. The shipyard locations might vary, like closer to the center, further off from the center. Perhaps I will make it so that certain maps have certain asteroid amounts like preset. Right now they are random, and it's actually quite fun that they're random, because you can get lucky, you can get unlucky with the placements. And it will force you to create your buildings and your bases in a different way each time, because large asteroids give more resources than small ones. So placement is important.
And do asteroids run out at any point in time, or are they permanent?
Right now they're permanent. I feel like that works but I've also have like a point on the to-do list that I also want to have it so that they run out. But I'm not sure how that will actually affect the gameplay. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to see how that goes.
Gotcha. And another quick question is there a way to look at, like, I know you have your ship building on the right. Is there any way to figure out where a ship is located? Like, say I send a surveyor off to do something, and then I lose it. How can I find it again?
Right now that might be a little bit difficult, but you just have to click on the red dot on the minimap, or the green dot in your case, and then you can find your surveyor because the camera will center on that area. It's a little bit more difficult when the unit's actually above the camera, but you should be able to find it easy enough using that method. And we might add like Supreme Commander like icons to it, but yeah, that's a might. I'm not sure if we're going to do that.
Perfect. And so the solid dots are ships, and the hollow dots are asteroids, I'm guessing. And then what are the... Oh, the squares are buildings. Okay, got it.
Yeah, bingo.
And sort of what's the population cap? I know that I have 10 right now, but what's the maximum amount you can have before the game's like no more ships?
It's technically unlimited, but it all depends on how good your computer is, obviously. And there's also because of the technology that's currently being used, there's a limit of about 1,000 objects that you can have per player. So yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's quite a few ships anyways, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it is. It like battles already feel pretty big when you only have like 5 ships, let alone a lot more, because there's lots of explosions and lots of stuff going on.
Awesome. I'm really looking forward to our first little battle here, but I don't have any ships yet, so I'm still working on that.
It's part of the process.
I'm guessing you probably have a couple of warships out or something. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, is there any fog of war going to be introduced to the game, or can we always see each other's bases?
Nope. You can always see each other's bases, and I feel like that already makes it hard enough to counter certain things. So even if you can see what the other is doing exactly, it doesn't matter that much. Because you still have to figure out what exactly they're using and what type of weaponry they have and how you can counter that. So, yeah.
No, it makes perfect sense to me. I like that, actually. Takes some of the guesswork out of it, and you can kind of just have like a pure RTS type situation.
Yeah, exactly.
And is there any way, or is there any reason that you would ever have multiple shipyards, or anything like that?
For now, no, not really.
Gotcha.
It could increase production when you're floating too much at some point, but yeah. For now, it's not on the agenda yet, but I did like that in other games, so I might add it. But the main priority right now is multiplayer is playable, as you can see. But the main priority is also getting a single player in and working on that a little bit. And yeah, making sure everything we have right now works well and is efficient, and finish the game. And afterwards, we have a list of about 4 pages of stuff that we already want to add, and they're all bullet points. So there's a lot of stuff that we want to add. But yeah, it will depend on how, what my financial situation at the time will be, basically.
Gotcha. And so for my Corvette, who cannot seem to hit your ship, is there a benefit to getting closer? Like, is the hit calculation based on distance, or is it just sort of a static once they're in range? That's the...
Yeah, like the weapon you currently have, it has a lot of spread.
Yep.
So you miss more often, but it also has nice damage, especially against medium, and medium ships are a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a factor.
Gotcha. Oh, I seem to hit a lot more when I'm closer, for sure. I'm not sure if that's a reality or thing. Maybe that's just confirmation bias. It just looks like I'm hitting more.
No. You're correct, I think, in that regard.
What is it you command?
I need more ships.
Waiting orders. Our main target. Waiting orders.
All right. And so jump beacons, how do those work? So I put one down. Jump command is where you jump from, and then jump beacon is where you jump to, or you can jump back and forth between the beacons. How does that work?
You can jump from a jump command towards jump beacon, but there's also a beacon ship that you can unlock, and you can also jump towards that ship. It's a small ship, it's a light ship, so it is easily destroyed, but if you do get into the enemy base or behind their defenses, yeah, it's going to be very useful for you.
And for the what's the word I was looking for? Sorry, I got sidetracked by building something.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's difficult to play RTS games and have like coherent conversations at the same time.
For the for buildings, can you build multiple buildings at once, or is it just the one building at a time?
Just the one building at a time, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like in starting with Command and Conquer 3, Tiberium Wars, I think, they also had like cranes you could build, and each crane would create an additional building that you could build at the same time. But that's not in this game yet, at least.
Okay. What's the maximum amount of players?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry. What's the maximum amount of players you can have in any particular matches? There, like 8 or 4?
Well, I'm trying to optimize it for 1v1 most of all. But there have been free-for-all battles. You can join with like 5, 6, 7 players. But I can't guarantee the performance or the stability if you do so. But, you know, I have backers on Patreon, and they've been having some free-for-all games, lots of free-for-all games actually, and they even tried a 2 versus 2, in which they, they're not on the same team, but they would hop on the same Discord and do like a fake 2v2. And according to them, that worked out fine. But yeah, I can't guarantee like that it will be completely stable. With the current version of the game.
Is that a plan for the future, those sort of team matches, or mostly just focusing on the 1v1 first?
It would be really cool to have, but yeah, the main thing is there's lots to do. This is like a complete RTS game, and I'm doing it pretty much all on my own. So there's a very clear priority list that I have to adhere to, otherwise the game will never be finished. And that so far has resulted in a playable multiplayer. And I'm also making a wave-like defense single player in which you can fight against AI and maybe unlock some ships because they drop loot as well. And that should be the base of the game. You know, that should be a complete version of the game, an enjoyable experience, but perhaps not with all the features that everyone wants to have in a game, like carriers or shield buildings or icons or better control groups with more selection options, you know, like the quality of life things. I'm trying to add as many as I can, but the main goal is for the game to be completed, looking good and being enjoyable to play. And then all the other stuff, as long as I can keep working on this project, I can keep adding features to the project. So to that extent, I also set up the Patreon, so that hopefully at some point I can do this full time instead of next to a job, next to a full-time job, and you know, be able to work on making classic RTS games, full time.
Perfect. That sounds amazing. I mean, it's a really fun game so far, and it's really interesting. I do have another question. How do I change the height of my ship? Because like one of my ships is stuck on what I'm assuming is a pretty low level of the map. How do I move upwards generally?
You can hold shift when it's selected and then scroll.
Ah, and perfect. That's what I was looking for.
You can scroll to a certain height, and 0 meters is like 0.
Gotcha. That is perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah.
I was like, usually it's control or alt, and I couldn't quite figure it out, but shift, there we go. That worked out pretty well.
Yep. Yeah, that's also difficult, like how to navigate in that way. I know Homeworld that did it in a certain way, but that was also not perfect. So I'm trying like a mix of my own version and that version. But yeah, it's
gotta be
it's
challenging to
still
make a
tricky.
three-dimensional, yeah.
Yeah, for building placement, at least it works fairly well right now. I
Yeah,
think.
it's really easy because you can just use the mouse wheel for up and down, and that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you can also hold down the middle mouse and look around a little bit. It's
Yeah.
also interesting.
Yeah, I'm doing that. What do the boxes look like that have the special items inside of them? I don't think I've seen one yet. There's a data crystal. Is that what I'm
Well, I
looking for?
have found one. No.
No, that's
I
the
have
lore.
found one to the south of my base. If to the south of my base, you see like 4 asteroids.
Okay, yeah.
And a little bit to the left of that, you
Oh, ship
will
frame.
see...
I see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bingo.
Oh, okay.
You can also alt-click on it to jump the camera to it. And
I'm going to send a ship to see what it does.
yeah, so send a surveyor. They're pretty fast.
Oh, okay. I'll send a surveyor. I was going to send a Corvette, but yeah, that's fine. I'll do that instead.
Corvette works too.
And so are these Zabugens, are they worth fighting over? Are they sort of like a really important thing, or are they just sort of like a minor increase? How much...
Well, they definitely add up. I think they're currently like half a power plant per Zabugen that you capture.
Okay.
So that's quite significant. And your shipyard itself also generates resources. So if you're fighting a really aggressive player who keeps killing your harvesters, then you can also go for holding the Zabugens and using the passive income from your shipyard and use that as your main income. There's a lot of different options you can try in that regard.
Okay. And does every ship just cost 1 population, or do the bigger ships cost more population, or how does that work?
Yeah, they cost 1.
Okay. And do you need like advanced ship? Oh no, never mind. It's building right now. Never mind. I'm good. I've answered my own question.
Yeah, it has some depth, you know. It's a bit like StarCraft 2. Definitely not in how smooth the lockstep is and how perfect everything is in terms of, because that's a huge studio, and I think it's the most smooth and perfect RTS there ever was in terms of how everything functions. Like everything is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Gameplay and enjoyability, that's a different story, because I personally like Supreme Commander better, but whatever. And I have no idea where I was going with the story, so here we are.
I think it's pretty smooth so far. The ships move really nicely, and there's not like, I haven't noticed any like clipping problems or anything like that, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good overall. That's yeah. It's bothering me a little bit that I forgot my point.
Oh, don't even worry about it. It's all good. And so what programming coder base are you using for this? Obviously it's the Unity engine, but sort of what programming code are you using for the development of it? In case there's some tech people that want to know. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm using C# and I'm using Photon for the networking, and that brings its own challenges. But it all worked out, and I'm pretty far along with the project. I think the multiplayer, according to the backers on Patreon, it could already be shipped as it is. Personally, I do like to improve on a few things. In the newer versions, for instance, the build menu is collapsible, so that
that'd be awesome, yeah.
Yeah, you have categories like economy, storage, utility buildings, and defensive buildings, and that already makes it easier to navigate there. And there's tons of other things as well that I'm working on.
Mm-hmm. I like the idea of having or getting unlocks by playing the game. That's pretty nice. Here's another question. What's sort of your price point that you're going to be shipping at? And are you going to be on Steam, or what's your release platform of choice going to be?
Yeah, I'm trying to... I'm going to add it on Steam, and I expect like the pricing to be about $20.
Okay.
So that's not like, especially if you look at the competition, that's a very good price. So I think you definitely will get your money's worth, if I do say so myself. But I'm very critical of pretty much everything that I do, And I've asked some others as well, like what would their pricing be, and I started off at like $25. But 20, they advised 20, and I agreed with them based on their argument.
And okay, so here's another quick question: what are the better? Like, there's 3 defenses: the Repeller Turret, the Photon Pod, and the Plasma Fortress. Are you going to add any ability to customize defensive platforms like you did with the fleet, or is it sort of just going to be static defenses?
No, those defenses are going to be static mostly. And the Repeller right now is a little bit underpowered, but it's going to be good against a lot of light ships. Photon Pod will be good against heavy ships, and it will have tracking missiles. And the Plasma Fortress will just be average against the very big ships, but it will have a decent amount of firepower, but mostly a lot of health.
Okay, gotcha.
And I'm also adding some more abilities next to the jump beacon, like construction boost. So if you're under attack and you do have the resources, but you don't have a lot of ships yet, then you can temporarily increase your production speed by 300%. But it has like a super long cooldown of about 10 minutes. So it's a last-ditch effort kind of thing. But, I could add more and more of those type of abilities. And it's very useful, I think.
Excellent.
But even with the amount of ships and weapons and modules that we currently have, there's already at least more than 1 million possible configurations for your fleet for those 5 ship slots. And someone actually did the math, and I'm not good enough in math to actually confirm that claim. But he calculated there were, with the current options, about 7 trillion different configurations you could do. And so there's a lot of difference in how players play as well. Some people have a really tanky fleet, some people have an harassment fleet, some people also make creative use of the economy, like they only take ships that cost a lot of power or ships that cost a lot of matter, and they try to base their fleet designs on that, and I think that's really interesting.
That is, are you planning to add more utility slots or utility type things? Like, I know there's several types of weapons, and I only have available the 2, the armor and the engine utilities. Is there more of them in the game that I just haven't discovered?
You mean the modules?
Yeah.
For the ships? There's about 20 of them, I think. There's ones that increase the metal cost, There's ones that decrease the build time. There's ones that increase flat ship speed, ones that increase percentage-based ship speed. There's ones that increase your range by a certain percentage of the weapons on your ship. So there are a lot of options there as well.
That is really cool. Because I only have the 2 so far. I have the hull strength one, and I think the static engine increase.
Yeah, those are the 2 you start off with.
I have a little bit of a fleet build up. Do you want to have a quick fight? Just to see what it looks like? Alright, I'm totally down. I have, several ships. I hope they do okay. I'll move to the center. I
neglected my economy a little bit, so...
Yeah, me too.
There's a good chance you'll beat this fleet.
I have no idea. Like, I don't even know if my ships are any good. I just kind of threw together what I thought looked really cool, and I was like, alright, this is what I want. So, we'll see how it goes.
Well, it does look cool. Could you, if you press F on your keyboard and then click on the destroyer in the middle, and then move your mouse with middle mouse in front of the destroyer, and then let it go, then the ship will pass right by the camera, and I think that looks, fairly cinematic.
All right, and also G to get rid of my UI there, and H. There we go.
Bingo. H for health.
Oh, my destroyer decided to flip around. It's now go. Oh, there we go. It it was like, nah.
Focusing on it.
Yeah, it didn't want to be in frame, so it just went straight up instead. I think it just needed to reorganize its orientation. So, oh, that looks really cool. Yeah, you're right.
Shy.
It was like, nope, I don't want to be on camera. I'm gonna go somewhere else. Oh, you're right. That looks really, really cool. And then all my other fleet's engines are in the foreground. That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, you can create a bit of a cinematic experience with that as well. And also, when you have a ship selected and you hold down B, you get sort of a bridge cam, and I might tweak that as well. But yeah,
Hold down V, you said, or B?
B.
Oh, B. Oh, yeah, you totally do. Huh.
B for bridge cam.
Yeah. Well, that looks really neat. And I have like another ship right on top of it. That's awesome. I like that. That's really neat looking.
Yeah, I'm kind of afraid of your fleet as it is. I'm trying to crank out 1 or 2 more ships.
I'm just gonna park them there, and they can just sit there and wait to die or win. Just let me know when you're coming in, so I can watch and see how the battle goes.
Yeah, I could send 1 expendable ship to get some fireworks going.
Sure, I would love to see. Like, I'm guessing my ships are probably gonna miss. They all have like weird guns, and you have smaller ships. I think I'm bad against small ships because I don't have any anti-light weapons. But
yeah, I think it should work though. We'll see.
I really like the difference in the ship models. Are you planning, as you said, there's 25 ship models? Are they all different looking, or are they sort of variations of the same ones? Or I like how
they're very different looking.
The original ones here, the base ones, kind of look like a mixture of maybe like Battlestar Galactica and the Expanse. I don't know if that's what you were going for, but the corvettes or the frigates totally look like Expanse ships, and they look really cool. I like them a lot. And then the was it Salvation, or well, I guess it's a repair cruiser? Definitely has some like Battlestar Galactica vibes, and I really like that as well.
I love Battlestar Galactica.
Me too.
Great fights, awesome looking flag.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you could, that's a hard thing to do, is make a really cool flat screen like they had in that show. Though that'd be really resource intensive, I think.
Well, you can get pretty close with the weaponry in this game.
Really? Oh yeah. I meant to ask.
Yeah.
There's like 25 or 30 or whatever weapons types. What some of the other ones? Because I only have the autocannons, the the 6 basic ones you have in the game. What are some of the other ones that you have available?
You have 3 main types: missiles, beam weapons, and projectile weapons. You have mostly projectile weapons. And each of those are good against certain types as well. So you have missiles that are good against light, missiles that are good against medium, heavy, or building type. And it's the same for all other weapon types. They're all at least, of each version, there's at least 1 good against each armor type. And there's also a bunch of mixes with like different projectile sizes, different ranges, different turning rates for the missiles. Basically things that make them as varied as possible.
Excellent. I'm really curious to see what this fleet fight's gonna look like. I'm nervous. I think my fleet is bigger, but I don't know if it's better, because I think you have better weapons than I do probably. But I'm gonna turn off my UI and we'll see how this looks.
All weapons should be fairly balanced, so even like the starting weapons should be good.
Oh, I really like the explosions when, even if your guns miss and they sort of like have the explosion in the air, like a flak screen kind of. I like that. That looks really cool.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna tweak the sound a little bit more as well.
Sure, the sounds up a bit. I turned down the sounds a little bit because the voices were a little bit loud on the recording, but oh no, I really like the sounds. It's got that muted space sound instead of like the really sort of cinematic loud sounds. It's got that really like what you would expect in space, where you like if you're in the hull of a ship and that's all you would hear, just sort of this dull muted sound. I like that a lot, actually.
Your fleet seems to be winning.
It does, yeah. One of my ships definitely is taking a beating.
Yeah, I'm gonna focus it down now.
That was a very cool fight. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
it looks really cool.
Small skirmish.
Yeah, that was really neat though. I like that a lot. I'm gonna just group up my fleet. And how fast is the repair aura from the repair cruiser? Is it like unbalancingly high, or is it sort of just like a little bit of a buff?
It's a little bit of a buff right now. It might still be a little bit overpowered, but I'm tweaking that as I go as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know. Usually it's hard to balance healing, because healing can be, especially in an aura-based healing, where it kind of scales with how many ships you have, it's more how powerful it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I even built any of these ships. I should build this class, because I don't think I built one, just to show it off. Where do I have one of those? There's a frigate. I have a destroyer, a paracruiser. I have my mammoth. Oh, I didn't build my other guy. I should build one. The light or the oh, I did have a corvette somewhere. I think it died.
Yeah, those are pretty soon to die. They're more like escort ships, but they can be really effective in large clouds.
Yeah, and they're pretty cheap, like 100 metal, 80 energy for this one, which is actually, I guess, probably fairly expensive for a corvette, but because my frigate's only 60 metal more.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but you can have like 2 corvettes for the price of 1 frigate, more or less, depending on the types, because there's also several types.
Yeah. I guess it depends what you put on them too. Some modules, I'm guessing, probably cost more resources than others.
Yeah.
What is the most expensive ship you can make in the game based on the current stuff? I'm just kind of curious.
It's about 1,000 of each resource.
Okay.
And it's pretty big.
I would imagine so. Is there anything bigger than the mammoth ship size, or is that the biggest currently?
There's about, I think, 3 ships that are bigger.
Okay. What's the biggest class called?
It's the Emperor class.
Oh, neat. So, in terms of economy, what's the sort of like end game like cap that you're kind of hoping to reach? Because I'm like 800 energy and 700 metal, which I'm guessing is not enough, because that's just enough to build my my mammoth. So probably need more.
Yeah, but that's your capacity, and if your income stream is like, if you focused more on income stream right now, you would reach your cap really quickly. But you could also pump out a lot more small units. Yeah, and it's a choice, a strategy choice that you make. Like, am I going to go for late game? Am I going to go for early game? Am I just going to buy time? Am I going to spend make my ships power heavy and just make power generators, or am I going to try to capture as many asteroids as I possibly can? There's a lot of options in that regard.
That's another question I quickly have. Is there a limit to how many harvesters can be on one asteroid, or
no? But if you have too many, they will bump into each other, and the pathfinding becomes less efficient, and that's something you have to babysit a little bit if you truly want to optimize everything.
Gotcha. That's what I was wondering, because I was like, I have a bunch, like all my harvesters seem to have grouped on one asteroid, and I was like, is that just what they do? I should check.
Oh yeah, you can move a few to another asteroid, and then they'll go there.
Gotcha. That might be worthwhile. And is it almost always more effective to use large asteroids, or did you like sort of make a variety of like medium, small, large?
The larger asteroids, they give more resources, so it's definitely better to get large asteroids.
Okay. I really like the aesthetic and the music in the game, though. It's really nice. It's nice and soothing. Are you going to have more songs, or is it just going to be like the one? What's your kind of plan for that?
There's currently 5 songs in there, and there might be 5 more coming. So there will be a variety, but I try to keep everything in the same theme as well, because it fits the game really well.
Yeah.
And we have a main composer. His name is Gregory 10, and he made this track, and yeah, it fits really well. It's the same track that you hear when you boot up the game, and it gives it a really nice atmosphere.
I need more population. Is there going to be like a higher tier habitat station? I know there's like an advanced power station, or is it always just going to be like the 5 intervals?
It's going to be 10 in future versions, and I'm changing it up a little bit. I'm going to make each new economy building that you build more expensive.
Okay.
But they'll do twice as much. So habitat stations will give you 10 population each instead of just 5.
Yeah.
Power plants deliver twice as much, and yeah, harvesters as well.
I know in like Homeworld, for example, you could move your mothership into combat sometimes if you were in like a dire situation. Is there any plan of doing something like that, like a last ditch jump your shipyard in with its? Does the shipyard have its own defenses, or does it have like a?
It doesn't fire at all.
Oh, okay.
It currently has zero defenses. But yeah, I have thought about making more like an MCV type of thing that you had in the Command and Conquer games, and just using that, you know, to be able to move your shipyard and deploy somewhere else. But you know, I'm fixing the main priority things first, and I'm not going to add any additional features until I'm done with what's currently on the to-do list.
That makes perfect sense to me. You definitely want to feature creep, because that's, especially as an indie developer, feature creep is a dangerous thing.
Yeah, definitely. And even like I wonder how that's going to end for Star Citizen, if it's ever going to be completed, because
I've lost hope on Star Citizen. In all honesty, I backed it.
I can imagine.
For like $20, like what, a decade ago, something like that. More? I don't even know how long it's been.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to go that route.
That's a big ship.
It's still a great game.
The Toshiro, what size is that one? It's pretty cool looking.
Ooh, it's the second largest.
I really like the engine cluster on the back. It looks really, really cool.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like the Battlestar Pegasus.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, the engine cluster looks a little bit like Battlestar Pegasus. It looks really neat. I like it a lot.
That's why you killed it.
I did. I focus fired it down. So for the guns, are they arc focused? Like, is there a specific size of the ships that will fire at certain ships, or are they just sort of omnidirectional?
They're omnidirectional, but they only, if you have weapons on the top, then the projectile weapons can only fire at ships that are above it.
Okay.
Missiles can always fire, and beam weapons can only fire as well when you're
Okay.
When the turret is on the right side of the ship, basically.
Okay, so there's directional turreting. Okay, that's really neat. And so, can you change the hard points on your ship, like the weapon hard points at any point in time, or are they sort of just static hard points?
They're fixed. They depend on the ship type, because there's ship types with more hard points, and then they'll have less health or more speed, or you know, it makes the different ship types stand out more. So I'm not going to make it so that you can also add additional hard points to your ships. It would kind of ruin the whole ship design thing. Like in Supreme Commander 2, they made each unit so what's the word for it, that is good against, like, all purpose. They made each unit that you had a tank, and you could upgrade it so that it would have a turret on top, that it would also shoot air units, and you know, that really makes the tank so all around that you don't really have to make air units as well. And I like the variety in being forced to try different types of things.
I'm with you on that one. I also like how there's different ship sizes and they're better different things, so you can't just like build a battleship that also has like anti-light, anti-heavy, and anti-medium guns and you just send it in, and that's the only ship design you need. That's cool.
Because then dedicated ships will definitely destroy you.
Yeah. I have a ship under attack. Oh no, my poor surveyor.
Yeah,
it did nothing to you.
Some targets I can actually kill.
Run, surveyor. It might even make it away. I don't think it's going to make it away. Although it is a pretty fast ship.
It can't outrun projectiles.
No, that's true. Oh, it died. I just saw it blow up. And so, what's the biggest sort of fleet battle you've had so far, out of curiosity? How many ships, approximately?
Personally, I haven't played all that much. I think the backers from Patreon have played a lot more than me. And I think they've played with 4 people, and they each had 20-ish ships.
That's not bad. That's a pretty good fleet. I think I have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have about 13 ships, give or take, I think.
Oh yeah, I've definitely seen more than that, now that I think of it. I've played against a French guy, and he had a lot of small ships and a few big ships as well.
Yeah, you could probably make a ton. Well, it's like the habitats are the bottleneck for ships because you can't have any build the 5 pop ones. So.
Yep, definitely.
That's like my most frequent build now. Is just like building habitats to try and get more ships out.
Yeah, you can spam it pretty well. Your fleet's already way bigger than mine, so I'm definitely losing right now.
I need to... Well, yeah, I think you're outdistancing my ships, though. I think your ships are faster than mine. They gotta be. Your missile ships are... I think they're missile ships. They're definitely faster than my current ships, I think.
Good.
I think that's... My downside is my ships are tanky, but... I was like, oh, I don't need engines.
Slow.
Engines are for suckers. I'm just gonna build a hull and I'll be fine. But now my ships are really slow.
Like cool though.
It does, yeah.
I like the configuration of like the really tanky destroyer type ships.
Yeah, they look really neat.
I think the Mammoth is my favorite ship, or the Destroyer, one of those two.
I really like the Destroyer model, yeah. The Mammoth looks really cool too, but I really like the Destroyer. Because it's kind of like a long, sleek... Yeah, exactly. It's like a long, sleek design. I really enjoy that. It reminds me of, I don't know if you've ever played it, but Sins of a Solar Empire.
Yeah.
The tech ships. And I really like that.
Yeah. Yeah, they were a bit more blocky, right? It was an industrial faction, something along those lines.
Yeah. I'm gonna build a bunch of small ships so I can chase down your ships, because my guys are really slow.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a little bit of revenge for the fleet that I lost.
Well, you're coming into my economy. Oh no. Is it hard to harass economy? Because buildings generally look like they have quite a few hit points.
It can be pretty hard, yeah. But if you have some anti-light ships or dedicated building killers, it can go really fast.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Can you set? I don't see a way to do it, but can you set like fleet behaviors? So like they'll stay at max range, or they'll try and outdistance, stuff like that. Or is it more like they just kind of go to their range and then they stop?
Yeah, they go to the range of the weapon they have with the shortest amount of range, and you can still, just place them in space, and they won't auto-engage and move towards it, but they will rotate the ship itself to
have their main batteries. Okay.
Yeah, so that most turrets can fire. So if you right-click on something, they'll move to the shortest attack range.
Okay, yeah.
And if you just leave them be, they will just fire if they're in range. Yeah, that ship is definitely dead.
It is, yeah. I lost a bunch of habitats.
Good.
All those horrible people. You killed all those people. I don't know how you feel about that.
Anyway, they don't cause pretty explosions.
That is true. They don't. Do you at some point in time, do you plan on putting in like a select all military ships button, or is there such a thing as opposed to like civilian ships?
Right now, if you select using a selection box, I'm not sure if it's in this version, but if you select using a selection box, it will not select harvesters when you also have military units in the selection.
Oh no, it definitely does that. That's cool. Yeah, I think it does.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it does. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're going in for the final push now.
I think I'm gonna just see if I can go into your base. Do you have any static defenses actually, or can you build any really quickly so we can take a look at those?
I can try. I spent most of my money, but
I'll just hold off until you build a couple. I mean, this isn't like a tournament match, so
sure.
I would like to see static defenses. We haven't seen any yet, so I'm kind of curious to what they look like. I'll just kind of camp out here. Where did my... Oh, there it is. I figured it out.
I just have 4 bricks right now, which is the sum of my fleet. And they're mostly
bricks are cool. They look really neat, though. I really like the design for the bricks.
Yeah, they look like bricks.
They do. They look like... They almost look like a transport ship, or like, you know, like a ferry, or not, like a... What's the word I'm looking for here? Yeah, like a civilian transport ship that just got like weapons and armor slapped onto it for like an emergency situation.
Yeah. No, don't fight. That's not good for you.
Pull back a little bit.
So I need 1 more power source, and then I need to fill up on my economy, and then I can make a plasma fortress, which is currently the most expensive point defense thing you can build in the game.
Yeah. What did they look like? Any more metal? Did I lose my... No, there's some harvesters there. Okay.
At least my brick that's harassing your fleet has been annoying enough.
It is. I've got like 2 ships or 3 ships just dealing with it.
Yeah, I think it has 3 or 4 kills, so it's doing a great job.
It's been destroying, well, it destroyed a couple corvettes, and it also killed a bunch of harvesters. My poor harvesters, they didn't do anything to you.
Rip in peace. Alright, so I could spend 1 more anti-medium.
Oh, I have a plasma fortress built. It looks really cool. I just built one for fun. They look neat.
Ah, yeah. It has 4 plasma cannons on it, so it's mostly good against heavy ships.
Yeah.
Right now it's not super tanky, it has 500 health, but I changed that today to be 1000, and I made it so that it costs 500 metal, 500 power, so it's a bit cheaper as well.
Yeah.
Not very good against light harassment, but...
Is there an internal armor system in the game? Like, are heavy... other than the sort of like what's better than what, is there like a damage reduction sort of system in the game for like heavier ships versus lighter weapons and stuff like that?
No, that's not in the game right now. I would love to have that at some point, but the rock, paper, scissors type also works really well as it is. So I'm not sure if I'm going to add it. But I could definitely add some modules at some point that you can just reduce the like certain type. You can add certain types of plating, and then you get 10% damage reduction, something along those lines.
Yeah. Is your station done? All right, I'm gonna come in and let's do a cinematic battle here.
Oh no.
I'm just kind of curious to see what this looks like. Here we go. I'm going to turn off UI and I'm going to follow a ship in. I guess that's technically like my flagship.
The biggest one.
I'll go with... oh, it's not letting me follow. Oh, there it is. There we go. I'm following a mammoth in, it looks like.
Strike one for me.
You have a lot of defenses there. There's a couple ships.
They're tanky ships too.
They are. I might not win as easily as I thought I would.
Good.
I mean, you have quite a few ships. Oh, there's a ship down. My small ships are getting shredded, but my big ships seem to be doing all right. Is there any benefit to having multiple repair ships? Like, does the aura stack, or are they? Is it just one that affects the fleet?
They currently stack, but they shouldn't, so I'm going to fix that.
Okay, because I was like, that could be a lot. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Ship under attack.
I really like the plasma forges. I think it looks really neat when it fires.
Yeah, I like it as well.
My guns are so inaccurate, but it looks really cool and it flies fast.
It works good against buildings. They don't
does.
dodge very easily.
That is true.
There goes the fortress.
Yeah, the fortress is down. The bricks are still tanking, like, amazingly well, though.
Yeah, they haven't been focused down, right?
That's true. But they still take just tons of damage. 510, I think that's... Well, it's not quite as much as a mammoth, but it's more than my destroyers.
Yeah, I added only health modules on them, so they were like extra tanky, but not much utility.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely slow, but really, really beefy ships.
Yeah, I like those. Although I do like a lot of firepower as well, but this ship design is mostly for tankiness.
What's the difference between the cruiser and the orbital cruiser?
The orbital cruiser only has weapons at the bottom, and the regular cruiser has 3 weapons, 2 on top, 1 on the bottom.
Okay.
But the orbital cruiser also has more health.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Personally, I would only put missiles on the orbital cruiser, because otherwise alignment might be an issue in certain battles, but...
I think that's what I did when I did my design for my orbital cruiser. I don't have one in this battle, but when I quickly did one before, I definitely put missiles on it, because it seemed like, you know, because I thought, like, orbital cruiser, not going to move very fast, obviously, so probably missiles are the best choice.
Yeah, that was a good choice.
I think it's pretty much done now.
Yep. Goodbye,
Bases are hard.
Station.
I really like it. It's a really fun game. I'm quite enjoying it. I am not very good at it.
Good.
I know you took it way easy on me, but it's really, really fun.
Well, I was a little bit distracted as well.
I mean, you had to answer tons of questions, yeah, which is probably not easy to...
Yeah, but still, you had a good fleet, and you won the initial fight, and that cost me a lot in economy.
I killed 21 ships. I gained a lot of metal and power.
That was still pretty even.
Yeah. Yeah, you killed a ton of my my economy ships. I never even targeted your economy. I didn't even think about trying.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna harass you like straight off the bat as well. But what people sometimes do is send a lot of light anti-light units towards your harvester line. That can be really annoying to deal with.
I would imagine so. So I guess do you have a Kickstarter, or it's just Patreon and then Steam release at some point?
Right now it's just a Patreon, yeah, because I tried to make a living out of this, and it's a bit tricky, and you know, I have to pay rent as well, and if I don't make enough, then at some point I'm going to have to pick up another full-time job or a part-time job, and then I'll have less and less time to actually work on this game and possible other RTS games. So I'd like to avoid that and actually be able to spend as much time as possible to just make awesome games.
Definitely. What's your sort of timeline for a Steam release? I'm assuming you're going to go early access on Steam, I would imagine. What's sort of like your timeline?
It depends a little bit. Right now it's in a closed alpha state, so only backers from Patreon can play the game. But for the Steam release, I could release the multiplayer as is. But I'm also trying to find a publisher or two and have some conversations with them about what would be sensible, because I've been working on this for 2.5 years now, and I've put a lot of time and effort into it to, you know, create a complete RTS from basically scratch. And yeah, so I'm just trying to make the most of that. And if a publisher tells me like, yeah, it would be wise if we do some marketing first, and that will delay development by 2 months, but then the result would be a lot better, then obviously I'm going to take their advice and do it like that. And if I can't find publishers in time for my deadline basically, then I'm just going to release it as is on Steam and just add features every now and then. But it would obviously be a lot better if I could just keep adding stuff constantly. Yeah.
Well, it's really fun. I really enjoyed the game, and if you would, we'll talk in Discord obviously, but I'll just grab your Patreon information and stuff, and I can post that as part of the video, and
sure.
Everything like that. Is there anything else you'd want to say to people watching the video and that you want them to know?
Well, just thanks for the interest in the game, assuming you actually like what I've made so far.
I did. It was really fun.
Yeah, I'm just happy that people are so... people in general, not just people watching this video, but they've all been enthusiastic and they seem to really want this type of game. To be made more, because the RTS genre is dying a little bit in terms of the amount of RTS games that are being released. There's some new ones coming out now, which is good, but you know, the more RTS games the better. So I hope I can help people with that, and myself as well.
Definitely. Well, thank you for the quick playthrough, and we'll play another one. When's your next version coming out, or when do you think you're going to do another push?
Hopefully I can have the single player wave defense done this week, but I'm working on that right now, and it's hard to say with other appointments how fast I can get that done. But it's probably going to be this week, and then I can send you a new version, and then you can check that one out as well.
Is there any
unlock some more weapons?
Perfect, that'd be awesome. Is there any plan to do a like team wave defense, sort of like a like a zombie survival, quote unquote, but and in space obviously, with like a higher tier wave defense, like more enemies and stuff like that, but you would join up with your friends to survive?
Yeah, that would be cool. I could definitely add that. I'll have to see how the current multiplayer goes first. The single player, sorry. And based on how I program that, I'm trying to keep it in mind to also facilitate game types, like you just said, to have like 2 people defend against an AI. So I'm keeping that in mind while actually programming it, but I'm afraid to actually promise that it will be in there, because maybe it will be like 300 hours of extra work to get that working correctly, and then it's going to be difficult, but it will be really cool, yeah.
All right, that was awesome. Thank you so much for your time, and I would love to play another game with you in the future, just to learn it, and it's a really fun game. I really enjoyed it. Like, I really loved Homeworld, and I love games like Sins of a Solar Empire, and even Battlefleet Gothic, and what was the other one? Battlestar Galactica Deadpoint, I want to say it was? Deadlock. Yeah, this game kind of reminds me of a mixture of those, and I really love it. It's really fun.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you for your time as well, and let's play another game sometime.
Definitely. I got to run to work, though, so I'll end it here, and I'll talk to you soon, for sure.
Yes, all right.
Thank you very much. Take care.